It's Beer O'Clock, and this is the Beer O'Clock Show, where every week we engage in some light-hearted, beer-related banter. My name is Mark, and joining me, strolling the green rolling grounds of his expansive Essex manor house, is my beer mentor, Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Mark. How are you this week?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Very good. Also joining us as a last-minute but much beloved fill-in for this week's guest spot is our old friend and number one fan, @79, Anthony. G'day, Ant.
Good evening, gentlemen, and good evening, listeners.
How are you doing?
Couldn't be any better.
Very good. This week we have something of a, I don't know if it's a contentious beer for cricket fans, maybe? I don't know. But before we get to that, let's get to what we've drunk in the last week. I'll go ahead and say I've drunk a Iron Maiden's Trooper, and that's it. Woo. Steve, what about you?
I've had a few again. I had found myself in the Holborn Whippet once again, and had a few in there. I was thrilled to find out that the day that I was in there, they actually had the original Magic Rock Cannonball on. Oh. Now this is the beer that started it all. This was the first one that then spawned Human Cannonball, that then spawned Unhuman Cannonball. Right. It was lovely. It was just like a hop bomb. It was just hoppy, sweet, citrusy, really flavoursome beer. I followed that up with a pint of Raw by the Moore Beer Company, which was just as hoppy and more on the traditional English bitter side of things, but with a lovely hop profile to it. I also tried a beer this week that our number 2 fan sent down to us, Michael Doody. Still not his name, but seeing as that's what we've called him from last week, carrying it on. He's been doing some homebrewing recently, and he sent me down one of his own homebrews, which was called "Is This the Way?" It was all right. It was quite a sweet beer, but it was lacking the carbonation that it needed to soften the sweetness.
Okay.
But still grateful to Michael for sending that down to me, and he mentioned himself he knew there were issues with the carbonation. I then on Friday night I did a cold turkey by Black Isle, which was a 2.8% breakfast beer, which was absolutely lovely. It had the hop flavour and profile of a much stronger beer and all the taste of a much stronger, hoppier beer, but at 2.8% you could literally drink it until the cows come home.
Black Isle, they're Scottish, aren't they?
I believe so, yeah. And then last one I had was a Bloody Hell by Beavertown, which was their orange IPA, which didn't really agree with me in so many more ways than one. But I didn't really enjoy it at all. So that was my week in beer.
Was it orange flavoured? Is that why they call it an orange IPA?
It had a hint of orange to it, but I don't think it was overly orange flavoured.
Oh, okay. I'd quite like an orange flavoured beer. I could go one of them right now. I'm quite thirsty. What about you, Ant? What have you been drinking lately, mate? Apart from, what's that local brewery that Harvey's? Apart from Harvey's dry, what have you been drinking?
Oh well, yeah, I've had one or two. I've had a couple of decent ones, and I've had a couple of that can only be described as rank beers. I think there's a bit of a. I went to my local pub last Friday night. And it's quite good at the minute because they've got a selection of different beers kind of every few weeks. They're just changing them. So there's loads of different ales, which is good. And I went in Friday night and I thought, what are they going to have in? Went in there, saw this beer. It's called a Fair Dinkum. Fair Dinkum. I think it's a similar theme to kind of the Ashes Ale and, you know, the Lions and the cricket coming up. And I thought, I'll try one of them. And it was a craft lager. I thought, oh yeah, it's quite a nice night. Try that. Had it. Not good.
Wasn't by Green King, was it?
No, it wasn't. The ironic thing was it was Fair Dinkum, which had a big like Aussie flag on it and all sorts of stuff.
Oh God!
But it was brewed in Yorkshire.
Brilliant.
So that didn't start the night off too well. But I moved on, and I tried a couple of Barnsley Bitters from Acorn Brewery of Barnsley. Kind of a standard bitter, but quite quaffable, as Steve would say. So I had a couple of them, just kind of a standard bitter really, and then I moved on to my local favourite, the Sussex Best Bitter by Harvey's. Can't beat it, always a banker, lovely beer. You get a good pint of that and you're pretty much in heaven. It's that good. You just want to shower in it.
What's the name of it again? Best Bitter.
It's just Harvey's Best Bitter. Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's renowned. It's renowned down here as their kind of flagship beer. And then I also tried a Gale's Seafarers Ale by Fuller's. So more of a session beer. Tried that at my local cricket club. Again, we have a guest beer on there every now and again. Very nice. Kind of a 3.8 session ale. Couple of them. Everyone's happy, singing and dancing. Lovely.
Very good. Cool.
I've had the Gales before. I first tried that at the first Great British Beer Festival I went to. It is a lovely beer, as Ant says. It's a proper session pint. You could easily enjoy that all afternoon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'll have to look out for that. I've never seen that one before. Is it normally only on... You can't get them in bottles, I assume?
No, it's Gales is. I think it's one of these kind of deal things that they basically come under the Fuller's label, but they still brew their own beer as Gales.
Oh, okay.
So you'd find it in one of the many Fuller's pubs in London.
Right. Cool. Okay, moving on. We have had a competition running in the last week from the last episode where people could win a bottle of Brewdog Mashtag, which we reviewed last week. Steve and I were both quite impressed with this beer. It's a brown ale, an American brown ale, I think is what it's referred to as. And we've had quite a few entries. Nice response again, following on from our Iron Maiden Trooper Ale competition. Steve, do you want to do the honours, lad?
Of reading through the entries, or
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry. So yeah, we had probably half a dozen or so entries, and these are them, and then between the three of us, we're going to decide on which one we think is the best. So the first one was because I can do a better Scottish impression than Mark.
Yeah. So just before you keep going on, people had to say why they thought they should win it, right?
Oh yes,
Sorry.
yeah. We asked people to tweet us why it should be them that wins it. So we had that first one. Then we had a second one saying because I'm still emotionally and physically distraught after that camping nonsense at Download last week. The third one was I need it. I like the use of the word need there, as I voted for it every day but live 100 miles from the nearest Brewdog bar. The next one was because I've never tried it.
Fair enough.
Then another one along a similar sort of theme as an earlier one. I should win the Mashtag because I was very offended by Mark's Scottish accent.
Hootman.
Clearly winning over our Scottish listeners here.
Okay then.
The next one was because I'm cool. And then the final one was beer needed for husband to sustain marriage. So those were our entries. Maybe not quite the response that we had for the Trooper competition, but then we did run that for nearly 3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And we ran this one for 3.5 days.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the entries. Guys, which one, if you had to choose one, which would it be?
And you go first, mate.
Oh. I think I'm going to have to go for needed for husband to sustain marriage.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to vote for.
It looks like we have a winner then, because I would have gone for that one as well.
Hey,
So,
marriage saved.
Marriage saved, thanks to the Beer O'Clock show. And I will just find out who it was that actually tweeted that particular message. Phone's taking some time. There we go. Okay, that's Claire Woodman at Toffee5075. You are the winner of our Mashtag competition. Again, as with last week, you'll probably find out about it on Twitter before you do on the show. But DM us your details and we'll get it in the post to you. Well done.
Well
Claire.
done. Congratulations.
Well done.
I hope your
We
hubby
are launching a new
enjoys...
competition tonight as well, Mark. You don't know this, but we're launching another competition tonight
Oh, we
as
just.
well.
How exciting. You want to go through that now or at the end?
Let's build the suspension.
Just on the winner's marriage situation, would we be able to find out in a few months if they've actually managed to, save the marriage through the Beer O'Clock show?
I think we could at least ask them.
Yeah, we should have one of those
Excellent,
follow-ups they
excellent.
do on the on those funny TV shows where they go back a little bit later to see how things turned out.
Yeah. And are they still in love? Yes, and what's the reason why the Beer O'Clock show?
Not only
leading the craft beer revolution, but
Marriage
saving
counselling.
marriages.
we're amazing. Right.
We are.
Before we get too full of ourselves, let's move on to this week's beer. It is from Marstons, and I don't think I've ever had a Marstons beer before.
Have you never had pedigree?
I don't think I've ever had pedigree.
I think everybody's drank
Oh.
pedigree.
Well,
And have you? You must have drank pedigree.
Yeah. It's my neck of the woods back up Midlands way up there. Pedigrees in pretty much everywhere you go.
No, I've seen it. But
Yeah,
I, don't think
I
I've ever
found
drunk
that the other week when I was up that way for download. Every pub had pedigree.
it. Right, this beer, I said at the top of the show that it was all crickety. And this is the Ashes Ale, as mentioned by Anne just a few moments ago when he was talking about cricket-themed beers. And this is, from my back of the label research, a very easy drinking, light-coloured pale ale brewed using Cascade hops, give a slight citrus and grapefruit aroma. Brewed to celebrate the Investic Ashes series and to spur on England's best, this beer is sure to bowl you over. Come on, boys, knock them for 6. And it does have, on the bottom of the label, definitely not for Aussies, which is a good thing because I was born in New Zealand. So,
Make sure you get that one in before I start ribbing you about it again.
I do have some friends who call me a faux Australian. Not a real Aussie, apparently. So there you go. It's a 4.1% ABV. Now, and you mentioned this before. Have you had this one before?
I've not had the Ashes Ale. No, I've had a couple of different Marstons before, but no, I've not had this. I'm quite excited about trying it.
And what about you, Stephen?
I've not had this much the same as Anne. I've only ever tried pedigree from Marston's.
Okay.
Oh no, actually, I think do they do? Oh, I don't know. Can't be bothered to think of it right now. I might have had another.
They do a pale ale that's about 2.8% or something.
Do they?
Yeah.
Do they do the Empire Old Ale? Old India Pale Ale. There's a ship on the bottle. Is that Marston's?
Possibly. I'm not sure.
Brilliant.
We've got
Beer
all the
O'Clock show
experts
at the
in
forefront, at the forefront of being beer experts.
Well, you can't blame me. I acknowledge that I don't know shit about beer.
We're
Alright.
supposed to know this shit.
Boys, let's crack this red lid off it and give it a pour. Oh, that's a nice colour.
Oh yeah.
Certainly very light.
Ooh.
Oh, that's quite excitable. It's very lively.
Oh, it's
It
got a
is.
bit of a fizz to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Looks like it's going to take off.
Yeah. It's like those bubbles have been pent up waiting for a release.
And then they disappear. There's not much carbonation left behind.
No,
Yeah.
that's true actually. You get a quick head and then that disappears to nothing as well.
Two.
Oh, dear.
So you're all pent up and ready to go. You get a quick head and then it's all over. Sound familiar?
Yeah. Lots of activity and then nothing.
Yeah. And then nothing.
Just a faint sniff at the end.
There's not much nose to it.
No.
Brilliant that at least someone's trying to be professional.
This happened. This happened last time Anthony was on. I called for a bad influence.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I
Oh,
can't handle it.
no, there's not much smell to it.
It smells like a lager.
It does a little
It's
bit.
it's got the look of a lager,
Mm.
albeit a very flat one now.
Yeah.
But it certainly smells like a lager as well. But we know it's not. It's a pale ale. It's brewed by Marstons. Don't believe they do lager.
That head has not lasted at all.
No, mine's disappeared to nothing.
Right.
I can't believe how much it's kind of gone from all to nothing in one foul swoop.
Yeah. Let's just hope the taste doesn't evaporate as quickly. So, all right, boys. I'm thirsty.
Cheers.
Let's get going. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's very dry on the back, isn't it?
It's very dry. I think that's where you get the first thing that leapt to my mind there was the grapefruit, and that's kind of maybe the dryness that comes at the end there. That sort of grapefruit flavour that you're obviously getting from the hops.
Mm.
It's a little too dry for my liking.
Very dry. Yeah.
Oh,
When I first started drinking it, it was like, oh, this might be really nice and fresh and thirst quenching, but no, I'm still thirsty. It's done nothing for me, thirst-wise.
Crack open a Beck's, Mark.
that it's very. It's almost the other one of Marston's I've tried of theirs, the 2.8% one. It's very similar to that.
What was that one called?
It was just a pale ale, Marston's pale ale. It's a 2.8% or something, but it's quite similar. It's not. They don't have a lot of flavour.
Mm.
It's very similar to that.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. I don't think this is a long-term option for them, is it?
No.
It's called Ashes Ale.
Yeah.
It appeared on our shelves about 2 weeks ago. Lo and behold, the Ashes series starts in a couple of weeks. It's not a commercial tie-in in any way, shape, or form. Is
Oh,
it?
no. No. That would be cynical of you to say such, Stephen.
Far be it from me to be the cynic.
It's so new. Oh, there it is. I was going to say it's so new it's not even in WhatsApp. Untapped.
There might be back-to-back Ashes series coming up, but I'm certainly not going to be drinking this back-to-back.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just... Oh, let me have another mouthful.
It's just so... It's dry, but there's not very hoppy with it. It's not...
Yeah, there's no...
It's-
Go on, mate.
I was just going to say it's now got the look and appeal of flat lager. It's got the smell of lager, and it almost does nothing for me like lager does. It's a very bland, bulk standard beer.
Yeah.
Now that's from the first couple of sips. Bearing in mind we normally allow the beers to warm as we go through them. I'm going to stick my neck out here and say I don't see that getting any better.
No.
You'd struggle. You'd say you had 3 or 4 bottles of this lined up. You'd struggle to have a lot.
Yeah.
You almost need a glass of water with it.
Yeah, you do. You need a drink to go with your drink.
You'd almost have to think about shandying it up
You know,
just to get through it.
this would make a nice shandy, actually.
Nice bit of shandy.
Because the lemonade would actually be thirst quenching, whereas this doesn't do anything. This is in no way a summer beer.
I'm trying to get my
I
head
think.
around it with what they've done, because if you think if they're going to be selling this at test matches, you're going to have guys going there drinking all day. I'm
Yep.
trying to see where this would fit, because surely this will be served at the test matches, people drinking it all day. So that I'm wondering if that's why it's kind of got that slightly lagery look and taste to it.
Yeah. What's the ABV on Pedigree? Because that's the that's their standard beer, isn't it, that they put out, and that's the one that you can get. Don't correct me if I'm wrong here, and you probably know a little bit more me about this. They're tied into a sponsorship deal with Marstons, aren't they? The ECB.
Yeah.
So basically, at all the cricket grounds, all you can get is pedigree.
Pretty much, yeah.
Or some sort of lager alternative, probably Tuborg or something shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find what the ABV is of pedigree.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
I'm sure
mate.
it comes in at about. It's in the threes, isn't it? Pedigree.
No, they have
4.5%
They have a
off
best
the tap.
bitter that.
Oh, okay.
They have a best bitter that's about 4, and then they have pedigree, which is like the premium one that's about 4.5, I think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the bottles or the cans are, but I'm looking at a tap badge and 4.5%.
Okay. So it's clearly a. I mean, it does seem to be nothing more than an Ashes tie-in, and I don't imagine it. I wouldn't have thought you'll be able to walk into your local Morrison's in December and still be able to get this off the shelf.
No.
Although with 6 bottle caps, 3 bottle caps, you can get a limited edition tankard
I know.
to enjoy it in.
I'm all over that.
I am a sucker for a deal and an offer.
You got to pay £7 for it though.
Yeah, well, yeah, fuck that.
All right, so I'm disappointed
I've been exploring
by this.
other beers they do.
Okay.
While we've been chatting, and it's Old Empire is the one that I've had. They do that. They
Yeah.
also do quite a few that you may have seen. They do one called EPA, which I know I've had. They do one called Strong Pale Ale. They do one called VSOP. I've had a lot of Marston's beers. They do Double Drop. I don't think I've had that. They do one called Pale Ale, which is that's the one Ant was talking about, 2.8%. They do an Ale Shandy, which I can admit to have had in that, and it's a lovely, refreshing summer drink.
Mm-hmm.
So they do quite a decent range of beers, actually, and they're part of the group that also includes Jennings and Whitewood and many other breweries that we are very fond of. They all come under the same banner. Jennings, Marsden's, Banks, Breakspear, Whitewood and Ringwood all come under the same banner.
I see. Well, good
Doesn't
on you,
make the
Masters.
beer any better though. That's just really bland. It's not what I thought it would taste like at all. I did have a preconception of what I thought it would taste like, and that's not it. Although it does seem to have very limited taste to
Dry water is what it is, mate. Dry water.
it. That's a good shout.
I really wanted to enjoy this. I really wanted to get a few bottles, watch a bit of the cricket, drinking my Ashes out, and I still might do. Don't get me wrong. But
Out of your tankard that you're clearly going to buy.
yeah, out of a tankard that I'm going to spend £7 on with 3 bottle tops.
Are you
But
going to try and get
no,
a tie
I just can't see me doing it. When you can't, I might actually wear a tie and a hat. Yeah, I might see if they've got some special commemorative ties and hats, and wear it with and drink it from my special commemorative mug, drinking a special commemorative ale.
This was like utopia for you tonight, wasn't it, mate? It was. You're on the Beer O'Clock show, which you've said before has changed your life. You're drinking a beer
literally.
related to cricket, and there was a slight opportunity you might get to talk about cricket. This should have been it for you, really, shouldn't it?
This should have been my utopia. This should have been my moment on the moon. This should have been the my life pinnacle. And as per usual, I put it on a pedestal, and now I looked up at it, and now it's just at the bottom with me.
Shot down in flames.
Yeah, right down in the valley instead of the top of the mountain.
Oh, Ant-Man. That's no good.
Well, it's not that bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm still drinking beer, and it's fantastic. I'm living the dream. But
Well, quote unquote beer.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's dry
I'm
water.
now getting a very flat aftertasty feeling to it as I'm reaching the bottom as well. It's just like
Yeah, there's nothing to it, is there?
it's nothing. No, not a good beer this
No.
week.
There's a burst of dryness with a promise of hops, and then you're left with nothing.
Well, from that
looks
explosion out of the bottle, you just expect something special. The way it comes out of that bottle, it can't wait to get out of the bottle into the glass and into your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
The minute it's in there, it's like a complete letdown.
Yeah.
It looks now like as if it's like someone's emptied the troughs at the end of the night and put them into a glass.
Brilliant.
Nice one, buddy.
Actually, don't want any more of that right now.
Which troughs are we talking about?
Yo, it could be any.
Oh, I'm not finishing that. Screw that. Marstons, you've disappointed me.
I think maybe in a future show we'll have to give Pedigree a go. It's one that we've not done yet, and it's actually not a bad beer. It's a fairly bold standard bitter, but they brew it in a special way, don't they? Isn't it naturally oak-aged or something like that? So you don't get the massive hit that you get from like the oak aging process in say like Innocent Gun,
Mm-hmm.
but you do get that slightly oakiness to the flavour, which actually makes it quite a nice pint.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of them as well. After if you've had 4 or 5 pints of Pedigree, you know about it the next day as well. It's quite heady.
Right. I don't think I've ever had 4 or 5 pints of anything, Anthony. Not one night, anyway. Oh dear. Oh no, when we went on that beer tour with Vic Norman, I did all right with the beer shots.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we've.
I want to do
beer.
beer shots.
You need to come out with us one day.
I know that. What? I'm not sure I'll be able to handle it.
If I
It'd
can
all
handle
get a
it, you
bit
can
too
handle
much.
Would it get too emotional for you actually being out live with the Beer O'Clock show, mate?
Oh, I can't. I'd have to wear a T-shirt saying with a hashtag #1 fan on it.
It. We need to get you a hashtag
Be
#1
amazing.
fan T-shirt.
Yes,
Please get on it, mate.
we do.
With
Yes,
top drawer on the
yes,
back.
yes.
Top drawer. It's spelt ER at the end.
Oh yeah, let's not go there.
Yeah, for the grammar pedants out there.
Oh,
You're not bitter, are you?
oh, I'm still
Not at
drinking.
all.
I'm still
No.
drinking it.
Oh, yeah.
I love it when people point out my faults.
Oh yeah, doesn't everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Because I'm bored of this beer. Twitter, you can find us on Twitter at Beer O'Clock Show. The website is beeroclockshow.co.uk and facebook.com/Beer O'Clock Show. You can also find us on iTunes. Just do a search for Beer O'Clock Show. Give us a rating and a review. We really appreciate your support. And if you're listening to us on the Stitcher Radio app, give us a little thumbs up because it really does help with our rating. If you have any feedback, comments, criticisms, whatever, if you have a problem with my unique, brilliant Scottish accent, then let us know on Twitter. And I'll try and do a fancy accent for you next time. You never know. You never know how lucky you are.
Oh dear. Oh.
So let's wrap this show up and let Anthony hit the road back down to Sussex, and we'll bid our laddie adieu.
Wait, we've got our new competition to launch.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot the new competition.
Okay, you've turned into Mrs. Doubtfire.
Give us the new competition, Stephen. It's very exciting.
Please just stop being Mrs. Doubtfire for a moment, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to talk.
Oh, I'm sweating.
Okay, this week's competition, the third in the series of 3. It would seem. Next week we are doing a Adnams special show. Because Adnams have very thankfully sent us a wonderful craft care package this last week. So we're going to be reviewing a couple of beers from what they've sent us in one show next week. To coincide with that, we're currently at 430 followers on Twitter. We want to get to 500 followers before our Adnams show next week. So we want to try and do 70 followers in the next week. So this is a project that I'm launching that I'm calling Follower 500. Okay, and whoever is Follower 500, we have a very, very special bottle of Adnams beer to give to them. One of the beers we'll be reviewing next week is called Native Britain, and it's a special bottling Adnams have done. When they've gone, they're gone. There's no more available of these beers. So we've got one of those to give away to our Follower 500. So all you've got to do is start retweeting with the hashtag Follower 500 and help get us to 500 followers by next Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Monday, or next week, whenever it is. We're recording next week. It all blurs into one. So that's the new competition. You'll see that on Twitter before you hear it on the show, because we want to give ourselves as much time. But that's the new competition. Follower 500. Get on it.
And it's the 500th follower who wins the beer.
Yes.
Okay. So what do the people who are retweeting get out of it?
Naffle.
But we appreciate your support.
But yes, and they get the pleasure of listening to us on a weekly basis.
Oh yeah, that too. Forgot about that. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. If we can concoct something to give to the person that we can somehow find was the person that initiated the 500 follower, which I don't think is possible, we might. But if not, this bottle of beer is going to our 500th follower.
Yep, that's right. And we'll
have no tactical following. So we'll have no unfollows and refollows. Thank you very much. We'll be watching it closely.
Stephen has spreadsheets of everybody. And we'll have more competitions lined up after the summer break.
Indeed we will.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got so much beer. I've got beer that's like 2 years old and I need to get rid of. We'll find a competition.
Probably out of date.
Yeah. I've got some 3-year-old innocent gun. We need to get rid of that crap. All right, that's it, boys. Thank you very much. Thank you, Anthony, for joining us yet again. It's always a pleasure, mate.
Thank you for having me. It's been fantastic. Absolutely top de raw.
Yay!
Drawer. Cool. And Stephen, as always, buddy, it's a pleasure to have you joining me every week for our little digital drink.
Likewise, it's always nice enjoying a beer with you on the Beer O'Clock Show.
And I'll see you next week for our Adnams special.
Yes, see you then.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.